Hey, this is Gary Rockman, your real estate rock star, and you are tuned into Connection. Welcome. How is everybody feeling today? I hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing well. I'm feeling good. Just got out of the pool, took a little swim. The weather here is hot in Baltimore or the DMV area, whichever you are, wherever you are in this part of the country. But yeah, so I just got my workout in. Did a half mile in 43 minutes. 43 minutes. Little slower than normal, but I'm just getting back into the swing of things. So that number should come down, and I should increase actually. So closer to mid-August, I should probably be doing about a mile in about an hour and 10 minutes, maybe something like that. So yeah, so it gets a little bit better as time, as I kind of keep moving forward on this time, keep consistent. Not at the gym, still not at the gym. Kind of missing the gym, but not eager to get back in there with all that sweat, body fluids floating around, folk not practicing the best hygiene. So, I'm going to stay kind of clear of that. Just circulation, wind, air circulation not being all that great. You know what I'm saying? People, even if you're distance, that stuff being recycled and whatnot. Nah, even wearing a mask. And the other piece is I don't want to work out and wear a mask. Um, you know, you're breathing in your carbon monoxide, poisons you're supposed to be getting rid of. You're breathing those poisons back in. Not a good thing when you're working out. I don't think that even when I see people, I wear my mask. If I go in places or get close to people, I'll pop it on. But even just walking down the street, nobody's around you. You know what I'm saying? Or you and your loved ones that you're uh, cohabitating with anyway. It's really not that important to wear a mask around them. You're with them all day, every day in the house and whatnot. So if you're out and about and you guys are staying away from other people, I would recommend not actually putting that mask on because again, we don't know all the health risks yet. Now I'm not advocating not wearing a mask, so I don't want people sending me emails and whatnot talking about he said not to wear a mask. I didn't say that at all. I'm not listening. What I am saying, however, is that we still want to make sure that we're being smart and being smart, we want to make sure that we're doing the best thing for us, right? We're not just listening to other people and not using our best judgment or using our own intelligence to kind of manage how that looks, how we're going to work within those confines, right? All these crazy folk that are going into Walmart and to Costco's and different establishments and raising hell about not wearing a mask. Now that's foolishness. Throw a mask on while you're in the store, buy your goods and get out the store and take your mask off. I mean, that's just ridiculous rebellions. But at the same time, if you are in your car, see people driving and they still had a mask on. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? You don't need your mask on in your car. You just breathe in carbon monoxide. It's supposed to be getting poisons that's supposed to be getting out of your system. You're just breathing them back in. So, that's not a good thing. Just again, manage what they're saying for us to do, but manage it in a way that makes sense, that keeps others safe, keeps yourself safe, and not just to the T. That would be my only commentary on that. But yeah, so I'm not at the gym. I'm trying to, still keeping my distance from folk and making sure I wear my mask and wash my hands and all that good stuff. And so, yeah, I'm going to continue to do that. And I would recommend all of you doing the same. As we're kind of I've been reading some things, and all this stuff is still happening right around the country, around the globe. We're still out here protesting. Woo, 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 woo. Good job. Raise some hell, young folk. Raise some hell. That's still going on. That's great. Still battling COVID, you know, around the country. Numbers are spiked in Texas, Florida. Where else? Arizona. And I understand the numbers are spiked, but what I'm understanding, even the more important part, is that they're seeing a number of cases that are actually coming to the hospitals. More respirators needed in those states. More hospital beds. Because the president was on last week, and he was speaking about, being interviewed, and and one thing that he said that is true, that we are being tested at a much greater rate than probably most of the world. He said all of the world. I won't go that far. I don't know. I don't know about that, but I do know that we're being tested probably more than anyone, or on the higher end of those that are being tested. Those countries that are doing testing, we're on the higher end of that. And I said this to my wife when things kind of really kicked off in March and April, that the more numbers, right, we will then be able to really kind of get a full depth of really what this virus is doing, right? It's really a lot faster, a lot more deadly than the common flu that we typically get every year. And the more cases, right, and less deaths we have is a good thing. The more cases that we're able to identify and less deaths, that's a plus. So more cases is not necessarily a bad thing. More cases and more cases and more deaths and more hospitalization and more respirators, those things are the bad side. But just more cases are not necessarily a bad thing. That means that plenty of people can catch it and deal with it and go on about their activities after they kind of bounce back. That's not a bad thing. That's like the flu. That's like a flu, maybe not even a really bad flu. So those are things that are good. So we will have more cases around the country for sure, because there are more testing. Me and my wife got tested. We tested negative. Um, but I'm sure in Maryland, because they're doing more testing, I'm sure the numbers of tests of people who actually have it have ticked up. But plus is we're not seeing a run on the hospitals, for beds and respirators. So that's good. That's good, because I'm sure there are more people tested now in Maryland than there were in April. But our numbers have stayed pretty steady as it relates to hospitalization and deaths and things like that. So that's good. So let's not be so fearful that we lose our minds, and let's stay connected as best we can. Human connection, I think, again, and I've said it and written a blog on it, is the greatest gift that the Creator has given us. And with COVID, all this going on in the world, we're kind of not really interacting with people. So even when I have on my mask and I see someone's eyes, I try to speak, right? We make eye contact and I say hello, a little louder than I would probably normally say it, so it gets through the mask. But I do that because I want to stay connected. I want to have that socialization, right? We don't want to lose the socialization that we have. We're already going down a slippery slope with all the technology and phones, and people kind of looking into their phones, and they have their headphones on, all the little devices and distractions. Prior to COVID, we don't want to get so disconnected that we're not having conversations. And if you think about it, this is kind of the more fuel for the fire. When we're in the middle of a riot and people can't have normal conversations with each other. Right? So we're seeing a lot of folk doing a lot of crazy right now. But this too shall pass. This too shall pass. What else? So before I get into today's subject, which is what most Black people are afraid to talk about, but I am not. I had a good conversation with a friend of mine last night, one of my Tuskegee alum frat brothers as well. Had a good conversation with him, and ironically, this morning woke up, almost woke up. My brother almost woke me up. One of my close friends. Sound like it was almost like he was listening to our conversation. First thing that he hit me with this morning via text. I said, "Man, were you listening in on my phone call?" And it was just something. It was kind of funny. So I'll get into that today with you guys. I'm just doing a little bit of homework here, a little bit of homework. Yes, indeed. Today's topic, what most Black people are afraid to talk about, but I'm not. Yes, indeed. So again, bear with me, folks. And yep, so here we go. I want to actually read last month's blog. I'm going to read last month's blog. And by the way, Leo Power, it is Leo season. Lion season is in. So happy birthday to all my fellow Leos. The blog, you can get it again on my website, GaryRockman.com. Check it out. Some of you actually get the show that way as well. Some get it on YouTube, but those who get it on the website, GaryRockman.com, you know where to find it. Just go to the blog section and you can see the blog as well. So it is called A Burning House. I'd like to first state that we are at war and have always been at war with white America. Police officers killing Black men, women, and children is nothing new. It's as old and common as the country itself. I believe this is a well-known fact, but what most of us fail to understand is how to win the war. I've studied the rise and fall of all of our civil rights and human rights organizations over the years. I've started out early as an activist, the age of 15 or so, and was a registered FOI, Fruit of Islam, the militant arm of the Nation of Islam, by the age of 20. I've had the pleasure of meeting and talking with such men as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, H. Rap Brown, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, Dr. Henry Clark, and the African Union Ambassador. to name a few. In my studies and in my involvement, I have learned that our first work is with us. Now, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't also raise hell when we are victims of injustice. It means that we must heal our people and create a healthy home to better fight our enemies. How can a family fight the enemy outside its door if it's getting annihilated in each room of its own house? How much stronger would we be if all of our soldiers redirected their aim on our true enemy? The best Black leadership we've ever had, respectfully, are Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, Booker T. Washington, the Black Panther Party, and Louis Farrakhan. Each of these men and the organizations they led primary focus was not on changing their enemy, it was on changing the damage plaguing their people. MLK was the only person that chose to try to change his enemy first and later question if he had led his people into a burning house. So what is the takeaway? Well, yes, Black on Black crime should be our primary focus, both the physical and mental type. Black on Black crime is not just one Black person killing of another. It is much more far-reaching than just physical death. It also encompasses a mental genocide of each other. People that fail to buy from each other and collaborate are unhealthy and very sick people, People, Black on Black crime has to include working against one's own self-interest. From all my studies and conversations with great thought leaders, there have been several parallel thoughts in which they all agree. So instead of just discussing the problem, let's discuss how to fix some things. 1, atonement. First, we must forgive ourselves. We must have a deeper understanding of how we got to this point and empathy for each of us in our individual struggles with self. 2, strengthening the family. First, understand that a true family consists of a man and a woman. I know that many things are accepted today and thrown upon us as family. My position is not to judge a soul. However, I have a responsibility to acknowledge that life itself has an order which embodies a universal law. This order is plain and consistent as the rise and setting of the sun. If we are to advance, we must accept that man and woman are the foundation to any true family and are keeping to the order of the law of mankind. 3, economic transformation. First, buying and building for Black causes. No exception. No other free people or nation does business with others before themselves. Neglecting this can only erode us from within and is a reflection of one's own self-hatred. Banking, buying, and building for Black causes is a positive reflection of a personal core value of self-worth. 4, education. institutional education, and equally as important, fundamental education. Gain knowledge and skill to advance ourselves together. If education doesn't solve the issues in our communities, it is not real education. If we are seeking degrees that lack the skill or knowledge to heal and teach others, we are wasting our time and money. We have allowed education to build an elitist group that has no power throughout the world and no solutions to fix its own problems. The sole responsibility of any education is to advance oneself, one's people, and ultimately the world. 5. Food. We must control our own food and water supply. An example of not doing so is Flint, Michigan. If we aren't taking this seriously, how can we cry about injustice in the street? Our enemy will cut or alter our food and water supply as the first step to genocides and control. To think that they will shoot us down like dogs and not poison us is either out of our negligence or ignorance. We must grow, cook, and learn to filter our own water. 6. Health. Physical and mental transformation, changing what we put in our mouths and in our minds. I share 1,000 times that a healthy body is not just a fit one, it is also a well-functioning one. It is free of drugs to maintain itself and can heal itself from within. To do so, it must have real food and not processed and fast food. It should be prepared conventionally and without the use of radiation. Its mind must be free of foolishness and meaningless entertainment. All things that we take in our bodies have one or three effects. It either poisons, it's either positive, negative, or neutral. The latter two having no real purpose for advancement. 7. International affairs. Mending relationships worldwide with other Black and brown nations. If not now, when? This is an essential part of our advancement as a people. All other races have a connection to a homeland and allies are formed. Policies are not just local, they're not just local, they're mainly foreign, and foreign policy of Black people anywhere affects Black people everywhere. The best example of this would be when the Haitians won the independence from France. It created a domino effect, one known today as the Louisiana Purchase. The French could no longer afford to support the Confederates because they were no longer supported by Haitian slave labor. This lack of financial support from France disabled the Confederates and inevitably fostered their defeat by the Union, which caused the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. 8. Political empowerment. Only support and elect those willing to push our agenda, no exceptions. Black politicians only matter when they put us first. This idea and romance that Black people have about Black politicians have have given us a voided check. It must end if we want to use politics to push policy. Black elected politicians often fail to understand quid pro quo, yet we tend to give them an, an unnamed and unnamed political parties our full support. We are even blamed when such politicians and political parties are not successful in their bid for office. Yet we are never rewarded for our unyielding support. 9. Military. All Black people must practice their Second Amendment right to bear arms. We must be able to protect ourselves and our agenda. God's law is self-preservation is the first law of man. So how can one practice this law if not taking the responsibility of protecting oneself? Bearing arms is what countries do to maintain peace and move policy. What makes us any different? We must train our entire family on the importance of possession and safe use of firearms. Let Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, and Rosewood be our examples of how important this is. 10. Justice reform. Overhaul of the entire system. If the 9 preceding points are achieved, justice reform is low-hanging fruit. If the 9 preceding points are not achieved, our enemy will never change a thing. This is a proven fact from 400 years of injustice, of white supremacy, and colonialism. If we each practice these things, we can become the revolution we yearn for, and no one person has to lead us. In the words of Fred Hampton, you can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill a revolution. That is the blog for June. Check it out. Hope you liked it. And it takes me right, I can pivot right into my conversation of today. So I'm on the phone last night talking to a frat brother, and we're talking about everything. We're talking about economics. Got to talk about the Stock Up Kids. He's also a member. He's also a Stock Up Kid. And, those of you who are new listeners, my kids, Kali and Spirit, are the Stock Up Kid founders. They've been trading now for almost 4 years. They are currently ages 11 and 12. They outperform the S&P 500 by 31 points. Have been maintaining a 41% return since January. And they go around the country teaching others how to trade. A number of friends and family know that they exist and that know what we're doing. They have a website called Stock Up Kids. So go there, subscribe, sign them up. They'll teach your kid or teach you as an adult how to trade. They have some of the best mentors in the world: Courtney Smith, Angel Rich, and the dad's not a bad mentor either. But we were talking about that because no matter how many people, I watch the other people out there doing similar work as we are. I won't mention them, but there's some other good folk doing similar work when it comes to teaching finances and economic empowerment. And I was listening to one of them the other day, and he said that they just recently, after about 10 years, hit the mark of 100,000 subscribers. I'm glad for them, but I said, damn, 10 years just to hit 100,000. That's a lot of fucking work. A lot of work, long time when we're talking about something that's so essential. You know, I know some folk who have YouTube channels and things of that nature, you know, and even my kids have one, Stock Up Kids. Check them out on YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button. And there, I know folk who got YouTube channels and they don't really, their content is bullshit. Let's keep it plain and simple. And they've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers and followers, and you know, their content's bullshit. And here it is, you know, you have folk who are doing similar work to us, and even us, like I said, and we struggle to get people to subscribe to a website. We struggle to get people to subscribe to even some free shit like a YouTube channel. Because one of my frat brothers, my line brother, actually said, because what you guys are doing is asking people to work and do something for themselves. I said, damn, you're right. You're right. I'm Generation X and we have fucking failed. We are not modeling and teaching a damn thing. We're just talkers. And so when we put out something that requires people to actually put some work in, put some real time and effort into, they basically shut down. Anytime I post anything controversial, if I post something about, like I said, about Biden or Trump, I get fucking, you know, gazillion comments. I post something about economic empowerment, it's crickets. I post something about black causes, crickets. I post something about banking black, crickets. I may get fucking 10 likes, 2 comments. And I know that many people have similar experiences. They put something that's really important up, they get nothing. They put some bullshit up, it blows. You know, the Facebook page or the Twitter site fucking blows up. I know I'm no different. I know I'm not unique in that. But it goes back to what my point is, right? Me and my buddy, we were talking and my frat brother last night, and we talked about not just the economic piece of and how important this shit really is for folk to get onto right now, especially during COVID. Everybody should be fucking reading about the stock market, Bitcoin, or some financial piece, because his wealth gap is going to get bigger and the middle class is going to disappear. You're going to either be rich or you're going to be poor. I've said this on shows before. You better fucking pick up a book and start reading some real shit. Turn CNN off, MSNBC, Fox, turn that shit off. Pick up a few books. Pick up some of these books, okay? And start to really apply the shit that's in the book. And you might end up being one of those that are fortunate enough to be on the rich side as this wealth gap continues to open up. And black people are the ones who are going to suffer the greatest from this wealth gap. So you middle class black folk that are middle class today, realize, I hope you're realizing that you will be on the poor side if you don't do some shit very soon. This excessive spending and bullshitting our money away, you keep it up, I'm telling you where this shit's headed. I'm not saying, you know, put it in a savings account. You need to learn how to fucking make that money work and invest it. That's real talk. We're not having these conversations, not like this, right? We want to talk about the shit we own, the bling bling, the Benzes, the bullshit, you know, the nice red wines and shit we bought. You know, I'm just letting you know it's coming. And it's coming quicker than you think. COVID is actually accelerating that. Why? Because things that were on the books for planning are now the way that we're moving, the way that we have to live, right? So they're gonna cut your cushy ass job out because they don't need all you folk at your job. They can get 1, 2, 10 to do what 100 people can do at one point. This shit's gonna accelerate. These companies are gonna downsize. They don't need as many people to do this shit. They're gonna robotics is real. They're gonna fucking organize in robotics and all that shit's gonna take your job. It's happening. It's happening now. It's already been happening. It's just gonna accelerate. And you thinking you know are gonna make it through it. Not if you're not planning right now. Not if you're not planning right fucking now. Not if we're not doing some things for ourselves right now. My frat brother, we were talking about great leadership. Great leadership that we once had in people like Booker T. And we said black folks today, though they scream and shout, educated black folks scream and shout that they love certain people like Booker T and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. But if those people were living today, they would fucking reject them. Because they reject their philosophies today. I've said this before. Bernie Sanders' whole platform was MLK's platform. People said Bernie's too socialist. Well, what the fuck do you think Martin Luther King was? He was a socialist. So if you reject Bernie, you also reject Martin. So don't tell me you loved Martin. You didn't love Martin. You don't know shit about Martin. You've watched a couple of fucking videos and they told you, you know, I have a dream speech and that's your love for Martin. You don't know shit about Martin. So quit lying. Take Martin's name out of your mouth. Because you don't love Martin. Many of you talk about how you love Malcolm X. You don't love fucking Malcolm. Malcolm told black folks fucking 60, 70 years ago to get off the tit of the Democratic Party. He told you that 60, 70 years ago. He told us then they were playing us. What you think he would tell you today? He told you you've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, run amok. You don't know shit about Malcolm. Most of you Negroes ain't even read his autobiography. You watched Spike Lee's version. That's the only reason you know anything about the man. Quit bullshit. Quit playing games. You're an aristocrat. Most of you talk about, even those are ones that are Tuskegee, Lamont Tuskegee, how you love Booker T. But then I see these same Negroes posting on Facebook and making comments contrary to what Booker T taught. You heard me? Contrary. Booker T said, cast your bucket down. Most of you Negroes don't even know what that means. Booker T wasn't out looking at white folk and asking white folk to accept him and accept black people. He worked with his people. He focused on lifting his people. He focused on fixing the problems that we dealt with directly ourselves. And he said to make yourself indispensable. And if you make yourself indispensable, all people will need you. We don't believe that shit. We're around here trying to convince the same slavists that ran us through years, 100 years of Jim Crow, who then are still putting knees on necks. We are still going to the same source, asking for equality and justice. You don't know a damn thing about Booker T. or Marcus Garvey. And most of you Negroes allowed white America to distance you or make you not like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which is probably the baddest black man to walk the face of this fucking, one of the baddest black men to walk the grounds of America, for sure. Study the man. Know what he accomplished. Know who he raised. Y'all don't want to know the truth. The truth is we're out here. We're killing each other with guns. We're criminal. We're not supporting each other in business. We're not working towards our own black causes. We've abandoned our fucking communities. And we want to blame somebody else. We want to blame young black people in these ghettos. Well, motherfucker, you abandoned them. You didn't create job the fucking first. You got your degree. You make your 6 figures. You move to the burbs. You raise your family, and half of you half-ass raising families because you're divorcing because you want to fuck everybody else and not focus on the one at home. So your kids are growing up with more shit, but no family. That's the truth. So just because you got degrees and you make some money and you got a house and some cars, don't make your ass a family. We've gotten away from what true values and what grandmas and shit put in us. Let's be real. There are more of us today having children, not married, and we think that shit's okay. No, that shit ain't okay. That shit ain't okay. That's why we're in the position we're in. There's enough data, if your ass would read, that says a married couple at family unit works out better. They're going to have more money. Their kids are less likely to drop out, less likely to get killed by crime, by street violence, less likely to get pregnant at an early age. There's less likely to commit suicide. I mean, it's so fucking many statistics that says marriage works, motherfuckers. So women thinking, I don't need no man, you's a damn fool and a lie. Men thinking, I don't need no woman, bitch can't do nothing for me. You's a damn fool and a lie. We need each other. That's the truth. And we need men to keep their dicks in their pants in case. Now, if you have a different agreement, then that's cool. You live in a poly life, I ain't mad at you. But some of you motherfuckers is living poly lives, but you just lying. She think you in a monogamous relationship. He think you in a monogamous relationship. Now your ass is hopping on dicks and putting it in everything that moves. And then wonder why your family unit's all fucked up. You ain't putting no energy and no time into it. That's why. You focus on so much other shit. You can't focus on building no business. You playing. And then you telling your kids that they got to do this and got to do that. You hypocrite. Fucking hypocrites. You're not modeling and teaching a damn thing. What you're modeling is the foolishness that you see your children doing. and that you should be questioning in yourself. That's the real shit. You want to get back right? You want to get back on a path in which we can actually grow and build and sustain some shit? Start with you. Fix you. Then grab a hold of somebody else and help their ass out. I'll say it and I'll say it 1,000,000,000 times until my death. Bank black, buy black, and build for black causes. That's just a fucking foundation start to economic advancement. Basic. Marry someone black. And I'm not hating on folk who marry interracial. It's not my point. I don't give a fuck if you marry interracial or not. This is a message to black people and how we build a cohesiveness, how we grow. This is real. We get into all types of shit today. We follow the white liberal role model, and we do everything they do to our fucking demise. That's the truth. Wake your ass up and look. Now, how the hell did we become the banner for homosexuality? And I'm not against homosexuals. Get me fucking twisted. I got frat brothers. I know people that are homosexual. I got neighbors. I love these people. Good fucking people. It's not my point. Try to twist this shit. Hear something different than what I'm saying. But the truth of the matter is, it kills reproduction. It kills a traditional marriage of man and woman. It further erodes the opportunity for us to grow as families and communities. That's what it does. In addition to that, it's unhealthy. Black women today, the largest number of new cases of HIV. Why is that? Because they're sleeping with men who sleep with men. And the men aren't being fucking honest. And now when you turn on your television and you watch any damn program, 9 out of 10 times, the gay person's the black guy. Whether it's fake or reality. How did that happen? All this shit is by design. Don't think it's not. Further erodes us. All this shit. We don't have the economic power to speak and demand shit. We ask it. Look at Nick Cannon, my man Nick, on his podcast, breaking down many historical truths, fucking historical truths, and they ripped that motherfucker apart. Took him off his show, Wild and Out, made the man fucking apologize. He'd been having suicidal thoughts. The fuck? What the fuck? Who the fuck does that to a person? They hate Farrakhan. Why? Only certain quote unquote Jews hate Farrakhan. I mean, I guess I can post picture after picture of Farrakhan with a bunch of rabbis that's fucking loving Farrakhan, that love him. But there's this certain sect of cats that hate him. Make you go, The same sect of cats that say seen as if they're the fucking Jews of the Jews of the Jews. They're supposed to be the greatest of Jews, I guess. Because they don't give a fuck about the rabbis that love Farrakhan. They don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about the fact that black folk, the true Hebrew, the lost found is us. They don't give a fuck about that. Is that right? Kind of like, I guess it's the same Jew that go over to Palestine and say that that's their land. Fucking thieves. That's who it is. We are fucking afraid and can't even speak on that real shit. Historical shit. I ain't gotta make up no shit on Jews. I ain't gotta lie. I can use history. And they tell you you're anti-Semite even when you use history. Ain't that some shit? Been to the Holocaust Museum fucking probably more than most Jews. One of the biggest things, the last piece that you come out when you read one of the last messages is not to be silent about injustice anywhere. Because if you do, you might be the one that justice is dealing with later. You may be the victim of injustice. Well, I'm speaking on that. And if it's black folk that are fucking up, I'm going to call out black folk. If it's certain sects of Jews, I'm going to call out certain sects of Jews. But nobody gets a pass on injustice. Nobody gets a pass on exploitation. Nobody gets a fucking pass. There's no big eyes and little U's. It don't work that way. Call all the bullshit to the carpet. Let's deal with all of it. That's how I approach shit. That's why Trump, Biden, this shit don't matter to me. These are two men are the same. Because one says he's one party, the next says he's another party. That shit don't matter to me. When I go out here in these neighborhoods in East Baltimore, West Baltimore, Southeast DC, or the South Side of Chicago, when I go to poverty-stricken neighborhoods, they're all the fucking same. And doesn't matter if it's a Republican, a Democrat, poverty is poverty under any administration. 45% unemployment for the last fucking 30 years under any administration is fucking 45% unemployment. That's what that is. For age group 16 to 25 in urban America, if you didn't know that shit. That shit been consistent. It didn't matter. We had a black president, a Democrat, a Republican. That shit's been consistent. Guess what else has been consistent, black people? Home ownership. Yes. Fucking home ownership. It's the same 49, 50% that it was during Jim fucking Crow. What? Yes. Did you know that shit? It's the same. Yeah. We didn't have plenty of Democrats. We didn't have plenty of Republicans. Shit ain't changed. Yeah. Educationally, Baltimore, this is the third, I think they said that Maryland is like the third richest state. I think some shit like that. We're definitely third in education. Third best education in the country. Guess what Baltimore is? Guess what Baltimore is? We're the second worst in the fucking nation. How does that happen? We got all black Democrats, everything in this motherfucking town. From the rooter to the tutor. How does that happen? Oh, what happens because you have a Republican governor. Bullshit. We had a Democrat governor most of the fucking last 30 years. That's the fact. That's the fact. Black woman today is the most educated person in the country and the most underpaid. Ain't that some shit? Most educated, less paid. Even when there's a Democrat in office. Didn't matter, Democrat, Republican, that shit didn't change. I just really want us to fucking wake up. My frat brother said, man, you a unicorn to us, G. You say shit that we can't say because we got the government job. You do shit that we just too scared to do because we was told to go get a good job. Said, G, man, I'm telling you, man, that's what it is. You were born too soon. These young folk, the Z generation, that's who you are. I said, dang, I do resonate with them. When I'm talking to Z's, they get what the fuck I'm talking about. They get it. They said, we ain't scared. Said, my mama, she's scared. My daddy, he's scared. We ain't scared. I said, shit. I ain't scared either. No wonder. When I tell folk I ain't got no fear and they look at me crazy. What the fuck you mean you ain't got no fear? Because I ain't scared, nigga. I ain't scared. Nah, you know I don't use that word, but I had to at that moment, y'all. You gotta give me a pass. I'm sorry, shit. I don't really give a fuck if you give me a pass or you don't, really. But I'm just letting you know, that ain't my word. I deplore the word. But it was something about that moment. Something about that moment. But yes, these are the things that black people are afraid to talk about. So we rather talk about Trump and Biden. That's an easier conversation. We rather talk about the black people killing each other in the neighborhoods. Because we don't have to fucking look at ourselves and realize we abandoned them. We don't have to work on ourselves. We can just fucking blame somebody else. Easy. I'm down. I'm done. I'm good. I live in my neighborhood. Drive my car. My kids go to public school, private school. I'm good. Bullshit. Death will be at your door one day. If you don't fucking change, you will find that out sooner than not. And I'm not wishing that shit on nobody. I'm not wishing it. God knows I'm not wishing it. But I am paying attention. I am paying attention to the way the world historically has moved. And if we don't change who we are and focus in on us and really work collaboratively together in true love and unison, we get what we get. We will then be deserving of whatever comes at our door. You can twist words. You can get on the bandwagon with Fox News or MSNBC or CNN. I don't really give a damn who you get on the bandwagon. But what I am going to be truthful in, I'm going to stand in my truth. Because the teacher, the person who's been teaching me is a man named Farrakhan. That's where I get my fire. And then I went to Tuskegee University and picked up some more from the philosophies of a master planner named Booker T. That's where I get my fire from. That I wasn't already born with, from a beautiful mother named Emily, who raised 3 kids in the city south side of Chicago by her motherfucking self and told me I could be whatever the fuck I wanted to be, and I believed them. But I've had some incredible people breathe into me. They weren't excuse makers. They weren't lobbying white support. They were focused, dead ass focused on fixing their own people and raising them up to be the gods and goddesses that they were born to be. So when I speak to you, when I post anything, that's the energy, that is the essence from which it comes. That you and I are gods and goddesses. Raise up. Cast your fucking bucket down. Do for self. And be who you were born to be. Then we won't have to ask for justice. We can demand it. Folks, I'm Gary Rockman, your real estate rock star. Thank you for tuning in to Connection. Until next week, keep moving forward.